I'm going to do a 20-25 minute short home practice based on the July 2016 lesson plan, which is all about twisting. Twisting lets you see things from a different perspective. It's all about opening up the neck and shoulders, releasing the hips, and hopefully working to the central nervous system and the digestive system. So we're going to start at the front of our mat. We're going to start with a salute to the sun, and in that salute to the sun we're going to put a twist. So releasing the shoulders, making sure the toes are spread nice and wide, knees are softened, engage through the core. Lift the collarbones, draw the chin in, neck is long. Close the eyes, take a couple of deep breaths here, stepping off your hamster wheel. And just starting to coordinate mind, body and breath together. When you're ready, just bring the palms together and open the eyes. So as we inhale, we're going to lift up and lengthen, look up towards the thumbs. As we exhale, we're going to fold forward and down. Let's spend a couple of moments in this forward fold, turning the head to release the neck, softening the shoulders, allowing the rib cage to fold towards the thighs. Don't let the knees knock together, keep the feet and the knees the same distance apart. We'll take a little twist, right hand onto left ankle, lift up, and then swap over to the other side. And come back into our forward fold, fingers next to the toes. Next inhale, big step back with the right leg into a lunge, drop the hips and look forward, relaxing the shoulders. As you breathe out, come into plank. From there you can drop to the knees, elbows in, down to the floor. Inhale either to a gentle cobra, keeping the shoulders low, or come up a little higher into upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Couple of breaths in the downward facing dog as we're starting off. Just loosening the back of the body, stretching out the legs, stretching out the spine. Again, releasing any tension in the neck and shoulders. Make sure the fingers are spread wide and the palms are pressed into the floor. Inhale, right leg through. Exhale, come up. Inhale, take your twist. So left elbow to right knee. Exhale, hold this twist. Try not to fold forward in this movement. Push away from the palms, lift and lengthen the spine out of the hips, relax the shoulders, push up with the back knee. If this is a bit too much on your back leg, then drop your back knee down. Okay, absolutely no problem with that. Just keep lengthening and opening, softening and releasing, maybe working that elbow a little bit closer towards your hip. Next, inhale, return to lunge. Exhale, come into your forward bend. Inhale, arms out, up you come. Exhale, salute the sun. Okay, we'll try that again on the other side. That will be the end of our warm-up. Inhale, lift and lengthen, look up to the thumbs. Exhale, release forward and down. Again, a few more breaths in the forward bend, releasing the neck, softening the shoulders, letting the ribcage come towards the thighs with the knees slightly softened. Don't let the knees roll in. Take a twist again, opposite hand to leg, lift up. Swap over. Fingers next to the toes. On the next inhale, left leg back to a lunge. Drop the hips, look forward. Check the alignment of that knee, release the shoulders, push up with the back leg. Next, exhale, plank. This time we could hover. Crocodile. Inhale, onto the tops of the feet, upward facing dog. Exhale, release the toes. Into downward facing dog. Again, have a little mooch here. Soften what you need to soften. Strengthening in the arms and shoulders. Releasing down the back of the body. Inhale, left leg through. Exhale, drop the hips and come up. Inhale, right elbow to outside of left knee. Taking the twist. So again, try not to fold forward here. Push from your palms to lift yourself out of your shoulders, lift your spine out of your hips. Drop the weight of the hips down. If you're able to move that arm a little further along, just check the alignment of your foot and your knee. Otherwise you will be in wobbly shop. Try and soften the shoulders, lengthen away. If you're able to, look round over that back leg. Next, inhale, lunge. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, slowly coming up. exhale, salute the sun. So we're going to repeat the twisted lunge. We're going to take it from there into a lizard pose. Then we're going to work into a warrior two pose, a twisted warrior, and hopefully end up somewhere in reverse triangle. So let's have a go. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, right leg back to your lunge. Exhale, hold it here. If you need to drop your back knee, you can. Otherwise, return back to your twist. So this time work a little bit more to bring that elbow down towards the hip. Try and push your palms away, your fingers come towards you. Lift and lengthen out of the hips and out of the shoulders. And then soften and draw the hips down a little bit further towards the floor. Pushing off with that back knee, taking your gaze point over that left shoulder. Couple more breaths here. Use the exhale to go a little softer, a little deeper. Remember, twist's about undoing. Don't make it a battle. So from now we'll come around and we'll drop that back knee. Little hamstring release, just folding forward. And now let's play with lizards. So we're going to bring the left foot to the edge of the mat. Hands on the inside, turn the feet out. Walk yourself forward. And then I'd like you to work towards getting your left arm down and bringing your head towards the floor. If you're not able to do that, you're just going to keep your hands forward and just drop into the elbows. You can get that left arm down. Let's take the right one underneath. I'm working a little bit deeper into that left hip now. Try and keep your left foot on the floor. Try and breathe. Try and relax your shoulders and ungrip your teeth. When you're ready from here, slowly coming up. Return that foot to a lunge position. Drop your back heel and spin round into warrior two. So you've got a back view on this side. Make sure you're not leaning forward. Shoulders in the centre, shoulders soft, arms strong, hips soft, legs strong. Core muscles engaged, looking down that left hand. A little deeper if you're able to, keep your knee directly above your ankle, push into the back foot. Keep the breath, keep steady. Micro adjusting. Breathe. Let's take a twist. Coming around to the front, bringing the right elbow across to the outside of that left knee again. Reverse extended side level. Now for me, I have to step wider with my right foot. I want to try and get the weight down through my hips a little bit more and draw my left hip back. This is one of my nemesis poses. I find it really challenging on my hip and my shoulders, but I'm just going as deep as I'm able to and hopefully not twisting too much in the hips. I'm taking that release into the spine. A couple more breaths here. Lengthen away out of the hips. Draw the navel in. Excuse the dog barking. So from here, come back round to the front. Readjust so you really feel as if you're steady through your feet because it's reverse triangle next. So keep those hips in a line. Maybe press the left hip back. Come up halfway, lengthen the right side of the body, cross the arm across to the left leg, and from there start to turn into reverse triangle. If you want to put a block on the floor, you can, otherwise use the hand on the back of the leg. Step a bit wider if you need to. Lengthen wherever you can. Keep the left side of the body the same distance as the right. Don't turn towards that left hip. Keep the left side of the body long. Option 1, roll that left hand round the back. Option 2, take it up in the air. Take your gaze point wherever your neck feels comfortable and try to breathe. You try and talk. Just breathing is enough in this pose. Release it when you're ready. Step back into a lunge, and from there into downward facing dog. Take that as a little rest pose. Your left leg goes a little different to the right. So when you're ready now, the next inhale, bring the right leg through. Coming into our lunge. Coming up, taking the twist again. Left elbow to right outside of thigh. Don't collapse forward, push away from the palms, lift your spine out of your hips. Lift your neck out of your shoulders, relax your shoulders down, drop your hips, push with your back foot, check the alignment of your knee and your foot and look over your right shoulder. And breathe. When you're ready, turn back into lunge, drop your back knee. Bring that right foot to the edge of your mat. Turn the toes out about 45 degrees. Come forward into lizard. Don't worry if the elbows don't come to the floor, it's not important, just drop the weight of your head and let your hips soften and open as you go forward. If you're able to, you take the right arm down and bring your head down. You take the left arm through. You're breathing into your right hip. Try not to have too much weight going over to the left. Keep the right foot completely in contact with the mat. Soften the shoulders. Ungrit the teeth and breathe. Slowly, gently, coming up into that lunge, releasing the back foot, spinning around the other way and coming up into warrior two. So again, think about the alignment of the knees and the hips, muddle down the legs, that's nice. Soften into the shoulders, that was the dog walk earlier. Soften into the shoulders, turn the head to look down the front. Find that balance point, find that softness point, be strong on the back leg. Engage through the core. Be a warrior with purpose, but temper that with a little bit of softness. When you're ready, let's take the twist, turning round. Bringing the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. You can just draw the right arm round, you can just press the shoulder back. If you need to take a step to the left, do so. Otherwise, we're going back into palms together. I'm adjusting here. My issue is my right hip, it doesn't want to stay back, so I'm going to adjust my legs and just gently encourage that right hip back and down. Then I can take the twist. I need to lift out of my shoulders, I need to lengthen out of my hips, and if possible, put the weight to the outside edge of my left foot, and breathe and look up towards the ceiling. A little bit deeper if possible. Much more interesting on the right hip this side, definitely for me. Should get quite warm here. Okay, release it. Let's get the hips square definitely towards the front now as we come back into reverse triangle on the other side. Right hand on the hip again, this is the interesting side for most of us. Come up halfway and lengthen the left side of the body, cross the arm over. Adjust if you need to, fingers on the floor, foot a bit wider or hand on the outside edge of your leg. Don't bring your right shoulder towards your right hip. Keep the right side of your body long as you then take your turn, your twist towards the wall. Relax your shoulders, lengthen your spine. Keep the right hand there or draw it around the back of the waist, or alternatively, lift it up. You can gaze up to that hand if your neck allows. But in this position, we've got to find something to open, something to release. The breath is absolutely paramount here. Magic words, lunge, and downward facing dog. So just having a walk out there, let's just drop to the knees for a moment. Bring the knees wide, the toes together, and let's just sink into extended child's pose or swan. Bring the elbows down first, walk the elbows forward, bring the bottom back towards the heels and let the forehead rest towards the earth. And breathe. So let's come up and try just a balance. Reverse half moon, we've worked up towards it now, so back into downward facing dog. We're going to start by bringing the left leg through. We're going to lift the right leg up and walk the hands hands forward. So if you need a block, it's going to need to go underneath your right hand. You need to square your hips off. Feel as if they're level, flex the foot. Now the hardest thing for me is keeping this leg up, so do your best to do that. Engage through your core, keep your head up level, and then take the twist. Nice and slowly, keeping that heel up. Don't have to lift this left arm, that is an option. See how it feels, and breathe. You can look up to the ceiling or to the wall or to the floor and just keep lifting that right heel and extending away, breathing, softening into the shoulders. Release it, take the hand down, step back into your lunge. From there, step back into your downward facing dog. Let's try that again on the other side. See if it's any more interesting. Lift up, come through. Lift the back leg, walk the hands forward. Get those hips square. Check it out at the back. Should be able to balance something on there. Head up level with heel, think ironing board. You're in a kind of one-handed warrior three. Turn slowly, adjust your hand if you need to. That's the one on the floor, I mean. You can adjust the one on the back as well. And then your option is to take this arm up and open. Open away from the floor. Open away from the centre. Lengthen your head out of your shoulders. Lengthen your heel away. One arm down, one arm up. One foot down, one foot back. Breathe. Create space. Lunge. Downward facing dog. And from here, we're going to come onto the knees. And sit before your heels. So that's our little vinyasa sequence. There's more in the full class, but that's our little home practice version. So we're going to have a little play with the arm balance because I really want everybody to be able to work on their forearm strength and flexibility. So if you come into, sorry, that's the dog, come into cat pose, but turn your hands around the other way. Now it might be to start with, you can only do that one at a time, that's fine. If you're able to take both together. And from there, lean back. Keep the shoulders relaxed and just enjoy that stretch through the carpal tunnel of the wrist there. Keep fingers pressed down, your knuckle bases pressed down. Now go back to where you started. Excuse me, and go forward. And go further forward than you really, really want to. Then bring the elbows into your rib cage. If you don't go far enough forward, your elbows won't bend and you won't get your head to the floor. You've then got to try and get up, so that's a little bit of strength through the arms and strength through the core to push back to where you were. So this is your warm up for the peacock pose. You come forward, elbows in, you go down, you come up, and shoulders back to stretch. So once you feel competent and confident about doing that, make sure you always do counter pose with your wrists. Then you've got to think about how you're going to achieve the arm balance. So like any arm balance, it's gravity. Once I get my head to the floor, I'm not going to be able to lift my legs. I'm going to flap around like a seal unless I take my head further forward. Once I've got my head further forward at my hips, then actually my legs will become very light and they will float up. Otherwise, they feel like 2-ton Tessie's legs. So let me show you. So I need to go all the way forward and more. I need to get my chin down. Okay, I can't lift my legs from here, it's very difficult. I need to bring my chin further forward and then actually my legs come up. The balance point is my elbows on my hip bones. If you convince yourself that you can't do that, just try it this way because they do fit, but the challenge is the triceps and the forearms. Okay, so you've got to go chin to floor first, then you're going to go even further forward, and then just a little flick of the legs, and they should float up, similar to what they do in crow or headstand or any other kind of balance with the tipping point. Anyway, just play with it, but as I said, make sure you do your counter pose. It's called the peacock pose, the unfeathered peacock pose, Mayurasana. You can Google it on a yoga journal, and there'll be lots of videos on just this one particular pose. Okay, let's do a little bit of core. So what we're working on in our core is just a roll down for today. So if you want to make it super duper hard, you bring your heels in quite close. If you want to make it not quite so hard, you take your heels a little bit further away, and you can start to build up the strength and bring your heels closer. Think about drawing the navel to the spine and squeezing the pelvic floor in on the exhalation. Start off by holding underneath your legs. Inhale. As you exhale, you're rolling down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to be about halfway. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You want to be all the way down. Okay, challenge now is not to launch from 10 till 5. Try and come up nice and slowly. So again, you can hold on to the backs of the legs when you get there. Exhale, chin to chest, head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're halfway. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so if you find you get halfway and you collapse, don't worry, you're just going to keep building up the strength. If you can't get up, then you use your hands and your elbows. So if you want to go a little bit more, you bring the feet in, and then you've got the option obviously to let go of the arms completely. So it starts 10, navel to spine, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. That's the tricky bit, 6 to 5. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So you're in charge of this. You just keep edging your feet further towards you. You come down halfway, you take that little pause on the biting point there, really working deep into the abdominals. You can't cheat and use your thighs and your head as you would in a sit-up. And as I say, if you get stuck here, push your elbows into the floor, bring your hands back and use your hands to bring you up. So you're still working with the control rather than kind of launching at high speed. So you can build up, maybe stop at 7 and stop at 3. And you could take it to 12 to count down. That's the hard bit there, that's stopping from 6 to 5 without your feet lifting. Coming back up again. Okay, we're going to roll onto the front now. We're going to do a little bit of a counter pose for the abs and a nice stretch for the back. So we're going to do bow, and we're going to have a slightly different way of looking at bow. And if there's a passerby or somebody else in your house that can help you get a deeper stretch in the bow, then now would be the time to call them over. I haven't got anyone here and the dog can't do it, so press the heels down so your feet are flexed. You're holding onto your ankles rather than the fronts of your feet. Okay, you've got your knees in line with your hips. Forehead starts on the floor, shoulders squeezed together. Rather than normal bow where you're lifting your legs up, I want you to keep your legs down and just push your heels away from you. So you're working into your chest. If you can get somebody to come along and pull your heels for you, you will come up much further and you will love them for it because it's an amazing stretch. Quite hard to do in talk, so apologies for that. Have 2 or 3 goes at that. Take a rest in between each one. But have 2 or 3 goes and see how you find it. Counter pose, child's really, extended child's or back into ordinary child's. And if that person's still around, get them to place their hands on your lower back and just give you a little rock from side to side. One of the best places to practice the bow pose is on the mattress because it's a nice soft landing, nice and soft on your hips, and you can really relax into it. Okay, so I've got 3 poses left I'd like to do. I'd like to have a little look at headstand. That's again turning things from a different perspective. I'd like to have a little look at tortoise pose and then a nice lying twist finish. So with headstand, we're going to do traditional headstand using the forearms to balance on rather than the hands. So you bring your fingers together, link the middle 3, keep the little ones out. Elbows are level with shoulders, and then you create the little space for your head. Top of your head goes on the floor. And if you're worried about this, please do it next to the wall. I don't want any disasters. Walk your knees in. This may be your first level of headstand and you're quite happy, thank you very much, here with your knees on the floor. Otherwise you tuck your toes underneath you and you bring your knees up. Now the key to headstand is having control. So what you need to do is not feel as if all the weight's in your head and you're collapsing. You need to push down with your forearms so your head is very lightly on the floor. And then you need to walk your feet in as far as you can. Once you walk your feet in, you've got a couple of choices. You can make a little jump, which I don't really like, to be honest, because it makes me feel a little bit unstable. But if the wall's there, you know you feel quite safe having that little tuck jump. That's your first option. What I tend to prefer, but you need a little bit to stretch your hamstrings for this, is to just do the one-legged lift. So as that one leg comes up, the other one floats up. So you're using gravity to assist you in that headstand. Okay, make sure that you feel as if you could actually lift your head off, because you've got the majority of the weight in your arms. If you're feeling this is just not for you yet, then my advice is practice rabbit pose, which will get you used to having your forehead on the floor, and practice dolphin pose, which will get you used to working strength in your shoulders and upper body. But also use the wall if there's nobody about to stand behind you and support you. I think perhaps the most interesting thing about a headstand is what it does to us mentally. When I teach children a headstand, they have no fear, they'll go straight into it. Most adults, and myself as a beginner, were terrified because of the what if. But as long as you have the control and you remember to breathe, and you take it very slowly in stages, there's very little chance of you hurting yourself. It's when you pelt full in with no control and flap around that it all goes a bit wrong. Okay, so let's have a look at tortoise now, and then finish with the twist. So lizard was a good warm-up for tortoise. The idea is you've got the outside edge of your feet on the floor. If you need them on the mat, that's fine. If not, maybe just pop a couple of towels or blocks or something underneath your ankles. The idea is that the hips are rolling out. Okay, what they want to do is, of course, roll in, because that's what they normally are. When babies do this, they'll have their knees flat on the floor. So will young children. Ours is still a little way off, but we'll get there. If you've got a little pile of bricks or a bolster, then you can bring that in front of you, because that will be your incentive, and it can be as high as you need it to be. It's a forward bend tortoise, but what it does is it really opens deeply into the hips. So you need to lengthen before you do anything. So as you inhale, your chin comes forward and your neck lengthens. As you exhale, you're creeping your hands forward and your chest is coming down. You're aiming eventually to get your elbows towards the floor. That's your first point of interest. At that point, again, you may have quite a big tower here, but if you can get your head to rest on something, you will actually start to feel a release. Gradually over the course of time, you'll get your head down a little bit lower. So once you're comfortable enough to have your elbows on the floor and your head on a block or two, then what I'd like you to do is to come forward a little bit, lift your legs, take your arms underneath. So notice my palms are facing upwards as I try and get my arms around the back. And then I do the same with this one. And then I'm trying to get my elbows back to the floor. So I might need my blocks here again. But gradually over the course of time, my head is pretty heavy and it will come down to the floor. It may take weeks, months, years it took for me, but you will get here. Okay, over the course of time, you're then working to get your hands a little bit further round and to get more of your chest on the floor. So you bring your nose and then eventually your chin. I'm not there yet. But it may be that you've got a couple of blocks here and you've got a cushion or something underneath your head. You may have something underneath your knees. You may at the moment be exactly where I started, which was up here. Yeah, looking at the floor, thinking, ridiculous. So again, don't look at the things from the perspective of I can't do it, just look at it from the perspective of, well, this is where I am, I'm not going to stay here, because gravity tells me I have to go forward the longer I spend in it, because my head is in front of my hips. So if I do nothing but sit here and contemplate the floor, I will get my elbows to the floor eventually, and then eventually I will get my head to come down. Do it on the bed with a massive pile of pillows. It's absolutely brilliant. Download the Yoga at Home, that's the @ sign app with my little picture in purple on it, and that's one of the poses we do. So onto your back and just bring the knees up to the chest. Just allow the hips to open. Upside down tortoise, you know, that's a nice way of doing it as well, just holding onto the feet, drawing the knees down towards the armpits, towards the shoulders. Keeping the head and the tail on the floor, just another way of opening out into the hips there. So the twist is basically a lying version of that reverse half moon. So I would suggest that you get a strap, or maybe, you know, a dressing gown cord or a belt or something that you've got at home. It might be that you don't need it, but it's quite useful if you need extensions to your arms. So I'm hoping I've got enough space here. So if I take my left leg to start with, okay, and I'm bringing that up and I'm holding the strap with my right arm. I want my right arm to be straight because I don't want any tension in my shoulder. My left arm's going out to the side at shoulder height with my palm facing up, and I'm drawing this leg over. Okay, I can lift my left buttock, but I can't lift my left hip. And I'm hoping actually that wall's going to be in the right place there, because that's quite perfect, because I can then use the wall to take my foot down. Now ideally I don't want the strap, I want to be able to hold my big toes. Okay, if that's not possible, then obviously you're going to use the strap. What you will have noticed is that my right foot has flopped out to the side, so that's not ideal. Once I've got my foot to the floor, then what I'll probably do is turn around the other way and put my right foot against the wall and keep my right toes facing upwards, so I have to work a little bit harder into my hip. But I'm quite happy being here for now. I can push away from that wall to get a really nice stretch down the left side. Just come out of it, bend the knee, bring both knees up to the chest. And then try the strap on the other leg to start with. So you've got the left leg straight, have the left arm straight, right arm out to the side, and then again come across. Try not to let that left leg flop out to the side, it is difficult. Definitely don't lift your right shoulder, and if the foot's ending up just dangling, let it dangle, because over the course of time, we know it's going to go towards the floor without us having to do anything but breathe. So you might find this side's a bit tighter. You're really trying to keep that leg straight, which is why you want to use a strap if possible. If you get that foot to the floor and the other one's flopped over to the side, then turn to the wall and put that left foot, heel on the skirting board, toes pointing up towards the ceiling, and that will make you work a lot deeper into your right hip. Slowly release that. Again, you can hold these a little bit longer. Do this one on the bed, it's great too. Bring the knees up to the chest. By all means have 5 or 10 minutes relaxation here. Put your knees underneath, put your bolster underneath your knees, or a rolled up towel underneath your knees. If you want to download the lovely relaxation track that I use, it's on my Facebook page, but if not, just message me and I will send you a link to it. So you can pause the video now while you have your relaxation. I'm going to roll up and just give you the last little thing to do, which is the most wonderful mudra. This is called the Courageous Heart Mudra. You can ask me what the Sanskrit is, and I've completely forgotten it, so I'll have to add it in on the description of the class. You're going to bring the backs of your hands together. You're going to cross your little fingers. You're going to cross your ring fingers. You're going to miss out the middle ones. And you're going to cross your index fingers. Then the tip of your middle finger is coming to the tip of your thumb, and then you just hover this mudra above your heart. You can see it's the shape of a heart. So it's called the Courageous Heart Mudra, to try not to come from fear or anger or guilt, but to accept that love is the place that we need to be, and that's the place that we need to act from at all times. Just close your eyes for a moment. Namaste. Any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. It's Carole Baker, CaroleBaker.co.uk, and I hope to see you again on the mat soon.